Hello, my name is Erica Daniels, and you're watching Interviews on my iPhone, where I go behind the scenes with local mental health professionals in order to decrease fears regarding seeking mental health services. Like I said, these videos are on my iPhone. Sometimes the video or audio is a bit funky, but I really want these videos to be natural and genuine, so you can see how these therapists and these office settings are in real life, not staged. You'll be able to access these videos on my website, childcounselingplace.com/interviews on my iPhone, and on Facebook at facebook.com/childcounselingplace. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome to Interviews on my iPhone. My name is Erica Daniels, and I'm a clinical counselor and the owner of Child Counseling Place. Interviews on my iPhone is my way of breaking down barriers to seeking mental health services. I get to go behind the scenes with local mental health professionals and talk about what they do so you can see what's available to you and also maybe see that therapy and therapists aren't so scary. Today, I'm in Mason, Ohio with Sharon Anchak, the owner of Journey Well, a private outpatient counseling practice. Thank you for having me this morning, Sharon.
Thanks for coming. This is really exciting what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm really thrilled to be able to talk to people and so I can show people, what mental health therapy is and what it's not.
Right.
People, this is such a confidential area that people really don't know what goes on in counseling.
Exactly. What happens behind closed doors.
Right. It's
sure.
I'm going to go down and lie on a couch while somebody judges me.
Right. I have had some people ask me where my couch is. Unfortunately, I don't have a couch, but I have very comfy chairs.
These are, and they're swivel-ly. They're
Exactly.
fun. All right. So tell us about Journey Well and the services that are offered here.
So Journey Well was established in 2015, August of 2015, so it's very exciting to have just recently had a 3-year anniversary.
Yes, congratulations.
I'm excited about that. I started out by myself for the first year, just offering outpatient services to children, adolescents, and adults here in Mason, but extending through the Warren County, Butler County, some Claremont County, like pulling from the whole area for sure. And then was fortunate enough to have someone join me my second year as an intern, and she actually stayed on after her internship was done, so she sees clients with us on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And then just recently, I was able to hire someone to come on full-time.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah, so it's an expansion in our third year.
That's great.
Which is really, an exciting thing. Having had a couple of interns, and I loved that process, and watching them grow and develop, and find their own identities as a counselor, and working with clients. But I also like the stability of having someone now who's going to just be here full-time with me,
Now, when we say outpatient counseling, can you describe a little bit about what that is?
So for us, that means that you come here. So we see people here in the office.
With comfy chairs.
The comfy chairs, exactly.
And I'm going to take some pictures of her office and post them at the end of this video. And I think I checked out your website.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I think you have some pictures posted on your website.
Yeah, just a couple. I need to update though with some of the more internal pictures too, for sure. Yeah, because we just moved to this space in July, near the end of July of this year. So it actually took us a month or so to really get settled in.
And it's a nice space.
Yeah.
I'm excited to show you guys all the pictures.
We're excited to be here actually. I was really fortunate to start out in Mason, in downtown Mason, in an old house that had been turned into offices, so I rented some space in there, and it was absolutely lovely. But when it came time for some expansion and some growth, we needed to step out, and find something else. And although this space is a traditional office complex space, we've tried through decor and painting and just ways to make it feel homey and to bring some of that charm that was inherent in our first space.
Right.
And to bring it into this space.
You guys have done an excellent job.
So that's.
Or you have. I don't know who else is
I can give some credit to my husband. He definitely helped out, especially with some painting and hanging things.
So people come here to this location?
Yes, for outpatient for us, kids, teens, adults, will come here and meet with us in the office.
Okay. And you just said kids, teens, and adults, so
Yes.
it's, anybody's welcome to come and schedule an appointment.
Exactly. I would say that the youngest that I have worked with
Mm-hmm.
so far in my really long career has been 4. It's just turned out that way, so
Okay.
I guess that's my comfort zone. Not to say that we can't necessarily possibly work with some kids younger than 4, but I know that there are some therapists out there that really specialize in that early childhood education kind of,
Yeah.
age range.
Just send them to me.
So,
'Cause
there you
I'll
go.
see kids really little.
Right,
Little
right.
ones.
See, so that's why I say yeah.
Okay. So, what qualifications are needed to be a therapist here at Journeywell?
Same as being a therapist anywhere.
Okay.
So that means that a clinician has to have the appropriate level of education. So for counselors and social workers, that tends to be a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
A master's degree in clinical mental health counseling or a master's degree in social work. For psychologists, they tend to have doctorate degrees here in Ohio. And then along with the education is the appropriate license through the state.
Mm-hmm.
So counselors and social workers and marriage and family therapists are all under one licensing board in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologists are under a separate licensing board.
Okay.
But the licensing board, the process of getting licensed pretty much ensures that the clinician has all the required credentials,
Okay.
in order to even be licensed into practice.
So, in other words, if somebody were coming here to seek services, they're not going to be handed over to somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing.
Right, right.
This person has had schooling, has been vetted
Mhm.
through supervision, has been vetted through the counseling
Right.
and social work board in Ohio.
Right, and and even if we bring on, let's say, another counselor intern,
Mm-hmm.
that person still is at the end of their education process.
Right, and they're being supervised.
And they're working under supervision.
Mm-hmm.
So it usually is also, the mission statement for Journeywell is enhancing lives and promoting wellness through the provision of quality services.
Mm-hmm.
And so regardless of whether, a person is in their internship or already licensed as a professional, we're going to make sure that the services are quality.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So what does a typical session look like here at Journeywell?
Well, it's not always typical probably. It really depends on the individual. I will say that our process, we do like to do an intake assessment first.
Mm-hmm.
So the first session sometimes is longer.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do a lot of information gathering as far as finding out why someone is seeking counseling,
Mm-hmm.
What's happening there, some history, family history, social history, that kind of thing. Just because we believe it's really important to have that whole picture of a person. It's not like, oh, I'm experiencing depression and that's in a vacuum,
Exactly.
So the intake session is a little more formal in that way, but I believe that, our personalities and the way that we go about it helps bring some informality to it too,
Mm-hmm.
while we're gathering that information. And then we also will do, within the next second, third session or something, we do treatment planning.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know what you want to work on,
Right.
because you're not going to come here to work on what we think you should work on. It's got to be what you want to work on.
Right.
So through that treatment planning, we figure out what your goals are and what some measurable objectives are so that you're going to know, what am I getting out of
Mm-hmm.
therapy?
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell people a lot of times, I think it's great if you say, like, hey, Sharon's really nice and easy to talk to, but I don't know what I'm doing there, that part's not so great, right? So I want it to be, Sharon's easy to talk to and helpful, and I'm making progress, I can tell.
Exactly.
This is what's happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's important to us. And then when we get into just the, the ongoing sessions, it really depends. With adults, it tends to be a lot of talk therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit here and we go over things and,
Right.
See what's going on, any current situations, as well as maintaining like that consistency of what you came for to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that with the teenagers, there's a mixture sometimes of approaches. Could be some expressive things mixed in with the talk things. The adults can do expressive and fun things too, though. And then with kids, we also like to incorporate a lot of play therapy techniques and expressive therapy techniques. So those sessions just look different depending on what's happening, who the individual is, and what's
It's
going
different
on.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I quickly turn the camera so people
sure.
can see your
Sure.
So you guys just saw the play therapy corner, which is great.
The bins contain all the fun stuff for the sand tray.
Oh,
The
that's
sand tray,
nice.
yeah, all the miniatures are in there. I know it's lovely if you do sand tray therapy
I do.
to have
yes.
shelves with all of the miniatures lined up, and unfortunately our space just doesn't really allow that. So instead it's going through the bins and picking out, the miniatures in sand tray therapy are people, animals, things that represent nature, all kinds of items that a person, regardless of age, can use within a sand tray setting to kind of depict stories or to kind of work through things in a three-dimensional way.
Right. Well, so Sharon and I used to actually work together at a community counseling agency with a program called PACT, which was the trauma treatment program there at that agency. And actually one of the supervisors there, Jennifer Vaughn, she would do, I don't know if she ever did supervision with you, but she would do sand tray during the supervision. So it's not just, as Sharon's saying, it's not just for adults. It's
not just for kids.
It's not just for kids. It
could be used for anything.
Really.
Definitely. That would have been really neat, but I didn't have supervision with Jennifer.
It was neat. So this space really lends itself to talking with all different types of people and all different age groups.
Right.
Now, you had said like the intake process can be a bit longer, and I hear that sometimes from clients. Well, I hear you guys say like this is taking forever, or I give them a packet of paperwork. Like, why do you need to know? Like, my doctor doesn't even do this. But I think it's really important, as Sharon mentioned, that I think we as counselors and social workers come to this as sort of a wellness model. So we're trying to look at you, not just what you're presenting with today, but what happened in your whole entire life that's gotten you to this point. And can you speak a little bit more? You said that they come in and you're only talking about what their goals are, because I think that some of you guys out there think you're going to come into therapy and maybe one, you're going to be judged by the therapist, but also two, the therapist is going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get better. So speak a little bit about that, because that's not what you said. You said
that's not the model that I operate under.
Okay.
Right? And there may be some clinicians who take what I would consider like a more directive route in that regard, but I think it's more meaningful for us to figure out what you want to accomplish. And let's say you come in and you're not really sure. You just know like something doesn't feel right, whatever that may be. Then it's our job to work with you to figure out, well, what will it look like or feel like when it's different? In what way do you want that to be different? What aspects of your life are affected now that you would be able to tell, when this and such has changed, that's kind of got to be an indication that I'm doing better.
Right. This isn't about us. This is about you guys.
Right.
We're trying to help you be your better selves, and you need to come to us and say what you want to say.
Sure, exactly. And we like it to try to make some objectives measurable, again, just so that you're going to know that, yes, okay, I've gotten that far, so that when we review a treatment plan and say, like, let's look at how far we've gotten, then we can look at, where that progress has been made, which is really nice. Or if for some reason it hasn't, we can also look at, well, is that the nature of the objective that we set out to do? Is it that we haven't really been focused on that? Or is it that the objective, while it sounded good at first, isn't truly what you really are wanting to work towards? Because sometimes that happens, where we go into it thinking a certain way and then realize that actually there's something else that we really want to get out of it or want to deal with.
Okay, so I got off into a different path here, but I really wanted to focus on that because, like I said, I hear a lot of people say, that they don't want somebody just telling them what to do, or they think they want to go in because they want somebody telling them
I was
what
going
to
to say,
do.
sometimes I know it's frustrating. I have a couple clients now who are like, just tell me what to do, Sharon. And I'm like, oh, I see that's not what I'm here for,
Right.
I want to help you figure out what you want to do for
Right.
sure. And I know it's not always easy.
Okay, so I showed everybody the therapy space here. Is that pretty typical of the therapy spaces here in Journey Well?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, they do. We have 3 therapy spaces in our office suite, and so each therapy space has a set of comfy chairs. The original set, which are 3 years old. Then the second set, when I first expanded in my old space, which are 2 years old, and then this brand new set, which is exciting. And then each office also has some sort of table or surface where expressive activities or play activities can take place.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So, for those people who are nervous still about seeking services, they're still a little afraid, although you're not scary at all. She's not scary, people. You're laughing and joking and smiling. What advice would you give to people who are still afraid about seeking services?
I think it's understandable because, especially if someone either has never been in therapy before and doesn't really know what to expect,
Right.
or people who have possibly been in therapy and maybe not had a very positive experience, and they may be, cautious about venturing into that again. But I think that if you're able to find, when you're able to find a therapist who's the right fit for you, that can help. And just with making that first phone call or email, because some people find it easier.
Right.
It's either more convenient or it's less threatening, either way, to reach out and email. And start to establish a connection there. And it's okay to ask questions, of the therapist, to find out anything that you want to know in terms of their credentials or their experience, their professional experience, or, questions you might want to ask to see if they're able to address whatever it is that you're working on, that you want to address. Now here, from the very beginning, I've always offered what I call the meet and greet.
Right.
Some people would refer to it as a consultation.
That's what I refer to it. I say it's a free 20-minute consultation.
Right. So we have the free 30-minute meet and greet.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, occasionally my 30-minute meet and greet has gone a little bit longer.
Oh.
But the meet and greet is no charge. We won't even bill insurance or anything. We're not even taking that kind of information at that time. That really is just for someone to come in and meet us, to see the space, to get a feel for it, to at least. Then the investment is, 30 minutes or so out of your day, and you can decide, I want to go ahead and schedule the intake and let's do this, or I need to think about it, or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And it also gives the clinician a chance to recognize whether or not the issues are something that they feel really competent to, to work with.
Right. Right, and then you can refer if not.
Right, because then we can, and even in that first phone conversation of reaching out, I've definitely had phone conversations that could have been 15, 20 minutes long with someone who we do come to the conclusion that we need to refer out, and I'll be sometimes on the phone and then on my computer looking up some other places, to say, because if I'm not it, I want you to find who is, for sure.
Exactly. Again, this isn't about us, this is about you.
Yeah.
And I think that those meet and greets or the consultations is a great idea. And I got that actually from a pediatrician.
Oh, yeah?
Because I'm super particular about the pediatricians that my kids see.
I can bet.
And because, in my mind, this is somebody that's going to be with my kids long term.
Right.
I want it to be a good fit. And when my first kid was born, I was like looking around, and I actually had to go. I had to make actual appointments, like an intake appointment, with all these different pediatricians. Well, then I finally found somebody who did these meet and greets, these consultations, and I thought, that makes such sense. Why? It's a waste of their time, because I was going and I was scheduling these intake sessions, or these intake doctor's appointments, and then not going back, because really I was just wanting to meet them.
Right, right.
And that was just a waste of their time. And so then I found a pediatrician who did the meet and greet. I don't think I actually stayed with that pediatrician, but it gave me the idea to do that here in the practice, in my practice at Child Counseling Place. And everybody that there have been some people who say, I just want to schedule an appointment. I don't need to meet you. I don't need to see the practice.
Which is fine.
And that's fine. But everybody I've done that with, not everybody's scheduled with me, but they've all said it's so helpful to them.
Right, right. To have that as an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go straight into scheduling an intake, and there's no problem with that. Meet and greet's definitely not mandatory by any means.
Right.
But it's something that's out there if that is the best first step for some folks.
Yeah, I think that's great. So speaking of then the first steps, how does someone get in contact with you to schedule an appointment here at Journey Well?
So we can be contacted through phone, 513-445-9959. We do not have a receptionist because we are very small. So
I don't have one either. It's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you call, please let it go to voicemail. It might take 30 seconds, which feels like forever when you're the one ringing and ringing and ringing. But we do call back within one business day.
Okay.
If at all possible, that same day. But if not, then definitely by the next business day. Also, I can be reached through email, and that's sharon@journey-well.com. And our website is www.journey-well.com. There's a contact form on there, and all the other info, the email, the phone, the fax, all of that is on there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they just need to reach out in email, phone, through the website.
Sure.
And say that they're interested in scheduling either a meet and greet or an initial appointment.
And I would say that the two pieces of information that can be the most helpful, and this is more logistics, is to know ahead of time what your availability may be. If you know, hey, I need appointments in the evenings, or I need appointments in the mornings before noon, or I need a Saturday appointment. If you have to leave a message or you send an email, to be able to include that information is helpful, because then I already can be looking to see if we can accommodate that.
Okay.
And then the same also with insurance coverage.
Okay.
We accept certain insurances. Some insurances I tried to get in network with, and they said they were full.
I know.
They didn't need any new people.
Companies don't seem to be very friendly to us counselors and social workers.
That's a little frustrating. If I say to you I'm not in network with them, chances are I tried, and they said they had enough people in our area, and so therefore they weren't taking any new counselors, when I have tried. But that's also helpful, because, the last thing you want is we're talking, and we spend 15, 20 minutes where you've told me a lot of what's going on with you or your child, and then it comes down to, I have such and such insurance, and I have to say, oh, man.
Right. Well, do you accept self-pay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, that's always an option.
Okay.
For sure.
But self-pay is just another term for out-of-pocket. Like you're just paying the fee for services instead of using your health insurance benefits.
Right.
Which oftentimes is better for.
Yeah, it depends on the individual and what their insurance plan is anyway. Because sometimes with the high deductible plans, they already know they're going to be paying everything, and it's all going towards their deductible. And I just want to say that also with the self-pay, that health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts, most of the time can be utilized.
Right.
So let's say I'm not in network with your actual insurance, but you also have a health savings account with that. So you're paying out of pocket, but you can pay through that at least.
Are you able to print off a statement for clients that they can send?
We can print off a really basic receipt that says you did this, you paid this amount for this service, or we can print off what they call the super bill.
Right.
That has all the fancy information that insurance companies like to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, are there any last thoughts or comments that you'd like to share with everybody?
You know what? I'm going to say that our intake forms,
Yes.
I tried to put it bare bones.
You did.
What is needed for ethical reasons and for legal reasons.
Okay.
And we do them online through our electronic health record.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have a client portal, and it's really wonderful because all you need is, even through your phone or anything, I email you the link,
Okay.
And then you just go in and you create your account. There's like some questions that you answer, and then there is a lot of reading. That's the ethical and the legal part, you know, the privacy policies and everything.
Right.
But then you electronically sign it, and that immediately creates your account in our electronic health record.
Okay.
So that when you come in for your first appointment, we've already got that done.
Great.
You know, and then we're making copies of like your ID and your insurance card.
Right.
But the paperwork is done.
You don't already have to have been an established client to have a client portal.
No, we do it from the
Do it right
get-go.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well,
it's
thank
exciting.
you for having me and talking to me
excited.
today.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited to watch all your other
I
videos
know. Well, yes, and hopefully this keeps going here.
too. Yeah.
So for those watching, I'm going to put up some pictures of the Journeywell office, and I'm also going to put up some information on how you can contact Sharon and Journeywell here in Mason.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you for watching, and until next time.